After Port were struggling to clear the ball out of their defensive 50, Lachie Jones finally gets the ball and he has a chance to clear the ball out to get a little bit of reprieve for the defense, and instead, unfortunately, he kicks it straight out of bounds on the full. Now the free kick is awarded to Josh Dacos, who goes back and slots this really hard goal. He's obviously been learning a little bit from Jamie Elliott. A little bit of inadverted head contact here between Dangerfield and Zorko. This one you could almost feel through the telly. It looked like it absolutely hurt. Both came off pretty bad. I think Zorko came off second best. Both had to go off with blood rules. It just goes to show that accidental head contact does happen. I'm glad the MRO didn't look at this one. It's just unfortunate. I reckon for something like this, just play on. A pretty big call here by the boundary umpire, as he says that Alir actually goes out of bounds as he is taking the kick from outside. He actually deviates off his line and therefore he has played on and it's out of bounds, so therefore it's a throw-in. Not entirely sure how much he deviated off of his path here, but apparently enough to call it a throw-in. What do you rate the grip strength of Bailey Smith here? He's held on while he's on the ground onto Caldwell and still dragged him down and got called for holding the ball. That's some pretty superior grip strength if you ask me. I think last week I said that Todd Marshall had the worst shank of the year. I'm not entirely sure if Caminiti here will beat it, but this one is an absolute stinker. What's your opinions on why we're seeing so many shanks lately, and if not this year completely? I feel like there are way more shanks this year than I've ever seen, or maybe it's just because I'm paying more attention to it. What are your thoughts? In the suspensions video yesterday, I thought it was a little bit harsh that Kane Farrell got a fine for this push on Bobby Hill, but actually watching the replay yet again, I do think this is probably worth a fine. You can actually see it looks like two hands in the back of Bobby Hill, and it's enough force to push him over the boundary and into the crowd. So I think a fine is right, because this could lead to some serious injury. So in the suspension video, we actually saw Ben Ainsworth get a fine for staging. Do you think this one here is worth enough for a staging fine? You do actually see Jack Reroar make contact with the back of Sicily, but it's very minor, and Sicily milks it for all he's got. He does get paid the free kick. Watching the replay, this is a terrible decision. The umpire got sucked in. I think if you're going to fine Ainsworth for that, I think you have to fine Sicily for this too. I have absolutely no idea what's going through Josh Ward's head here, but you can see that he almost runs straight through the 50. It's well inside the protected zone, and you can see Warple just put his hands on his head like, bruh, what are you doing? I honestly believe that McGuinness was just chipping the ball forward to play on and then get the advantage of the ball out in front of him. He kicks it a little bit too hard and it goes through for a goal. He's going to claim that he's going for the goal, but I'm not totally convinced. I think he was trying to chip it towards himself so he could pick the ball up and kick a goal, but luckily for him, it went through anyway. Maybe it's because they are ruckmans, but this sort of looked like it happened in slow-mo. Ned Reeves tackles Soldo down to the ground, spinning him, and his head makes contact to the ground. This is a textbook sling tackle, and he got 1 week for it, which I think is fair. The players have to know by now not to do this. In this one, you can see that Hinge is pushed in the back by Melksham. He actually gets a free kick, which seems a little bit delayed. Everyone seems a little bit confused. And the umpire is telling Melksham multiple times to go back to the 9. He doesn't, and he gives away a 50-metre penalty. Melksham can't use the excuse that the crowd was loud. The umpire is literally standing right next to him, and he didn't obey his orders. Therefore, I think a 50-metre penalty is fair. Not much to this one, but there's a marking contest. It gets fumbled, and then it actually gives Phillips a falcon on the way back. Not much to it, just thought it was funny. I don't know if BT is just trying to take the piss here or what, but you can clearly see Petrarca has eyes on someone. He tries to handball it and it just slips out of his hands, and he just keeps going on and on with this joke, trying to pretend like he's Kevin Bartlett or whatever, and he just keeps going with it. It's like, okay, BT, we get it, but that's not the case. You can clearly see he's missed the handball. Relax, mate. I think we've all seen this one by now, but Rioli just open hand bitch slaps Murphy. He got 1 week for it. If it was a close fist, I guess it's 2. I don't know who makes that call. Just a really weird decision by Rioli here. The players have to know that there's a million cameras on them at any point in time. You can't be doing this and get away with it. Tim Taranto has kicked the ball and it's not entirely a shank. I think it just didn't come off the boot quite as well as he liked, but it made the distance, went through for a goal, and you can see his reaction. He just cannot believe it's made the distance or the accuracy. He just has a pretty good laugh. It's pretty good to see. A little bit of lazy defense here from the Hawks, but Cochin is able to take the mark pretty much 20 metres straight out in front. He sees that there's no one standing in front of him on the mark, so he takes the decision to kick for goal. It goes through for a goal, but as you can see in the review, it actually does hit the goalpost. If he went back for a set shot, I'm sure he would have kicked it, but for some reason it was a little bit rushed and it went through for a behind. That's just pretty unlucky. This is easily the best game that Wingard has played at the Hawks. You can see he's scrambling to try and pick it up or either draw the free kick, and he just decides, nah, let's just go for goal. And he kicks it off the ground and it goes through for goal. That's incredibly hard to do. Thank you for watching. That's the end of the Oddities. This week was a little bit short. I was away for work, but I'm going to answer some of your phone calls now. So if you'd like to hang around, please continue to watch. If not, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment if you like. Let's get to some phone calls.
Hey mate, I was just wondering, what do you think the hardest position in footy is to play and the most important position?
Thanks again for your call, and I think the hardest position at the moment is the small forward. I think there was a game recently where Cody Waitman had one touch at three-quarter time. I think he went the first half without a touch, because if they're not performing up forward, there's not really much they can do unless they have an excellent skill set to get in the mid and get a few touches. And also, a lot of players are not kicking it to them on the lead, so they either have to be there for front and centre crumb. If they're not, they get left behind, and then sometimes they get subbed out. I think the most important position at the moment is the running halfbacks. Players like Nick Dacos, Nick Blakey, Dan Houston are very important to their teams as they can get the ball and they can break lines and run. Just breaking that first line can open up the field pretty well. And I think those small defenders that are running halfbacks do it really well. And I think they're the most important players in the AFL at the moment.
Do you think Geelong can make finals? And do you think that they can win the grand final? And will Tanner Bruin win Rising Star?
Thank you for your call. I do think Geelong will make finals. I think they'll make that 5 or 6 spot there. So yes, I do think they will make finals. I think they might win first week, but then I think they'll lose the second week. They're a strong team. They're starting to win games at the right time of the season, which is very good to see for their fans. But it's incredibly hard to win a grand final outside of the top 4. It has been done, but it's very hard. And no, Tanner Bruin will not win the Rising Star. It'll be Ashcroft or Sheasel, I think. Thanks for your call.
Hey mate, Harry here. Firstly, I love your channel and your content. Secondly, can you please just give us some information about you? Yeah, like you seem to know like a lot about footy, and I just really want to know a lot about you. So, thanks.
Thanks for your call, Harry. I can tell you a little bit more about me. I probably won't do it in this video, but it's probably a good time to tell you that I'm doing my very first live stream for the Friday night footy game. So be sure to put that one in your notify me, so when we do go live, you can ask me questions and I can talk through the chat. I can also talk through text if you'd like, but be sure to have that one ready, so then Friday night footy, we can watch it together and we can chat live together. Anyway, that's it for this week. A little bit shorter, but thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Friday night, guys. If you'd like to be in the phone call, call the number on the screen.